start by taking some deep breaths. And you can sit on your mat, however's comfortable. Don't feel like you have to cross your legs. You can sit with your legs straight out in front if you want to. You can bring your knees in. Just make sure that you're seated in a comfortable position. And let's just start to notice our breath. Start to pay attention. Don't worry about changing it right now. Just start to notice it. Now let's start to lengthen our breath. Let's start to deepen our breath. Maybe it takes us a little bit longer to inhale and a little bit longer to exhale. And I've been sitting here talking and my screen muted itself, so I'm not sure why. Let's take 5 or 6 seconds to inhale, 5 or 6 seconds to exhale. Pay attention to that breath. Let's go ahead and just start to shrug our shoulders a little bit, maybe working out any kinks we might have for the day. Maybe we're circles, maybe up and down. Maybe we want to take our arms all the way out, bring them in, and just give ourselves kind of a hug here, squeezing our shoulders if that feels good to us. Still taking those deep inhales and slow exhales. And now let's go ahead and just start to draw small circles with our nose. Nice and slow all the way out. Until we're really working out any kinks we might have in our neck. Go nice and slow here. That's the trick. Make sure we're going slow enough to feel if anything catches or doesn't feel quite right. If you're going around and you hit a spot and you're like, oh man, that felt great. Do it again. Go back over that spot nice and slowly. Let's take a big deep breath in, arms all the way up. Bring them up all the way, maybe give your fingers a wiggle, and as we exhale, let's fold forward. Don't feel like you have to bring your nose all the way to the ground, just to reach forward, lean forward. And back up. Nice and slow, walk our hands in. If our feet are crossed, if our legs are crossed, let's switch. So whichever foot is in front is now behind. If the foot is on top, it's now underneath. Because we love both hips and we want to stretch both hips out. Big deep breath, arms all the way up. Reach up. Exhale, reach forward, fold down. Again, don't feel like your nose has to touch the ground or your forehead's got to be down there. Just reach out. You know your body. Listen to it. If your arms are out there and your hips like, what the heck are you doing to me? Bring your arms back in a little bit. Well, it looks like about every 3 minutes, I'm gonna have to unmute my screen. So let's bring those arms back in. That was a nice long extra stretch there. Deep breath. And we're gonna take that left arm out to the side. Right arm's gonna come over and just reach that stretch in that side there. Maybe as you take a big deep breath in, you're noticing the space in between your ribs getting just a little bit wider. And the other side, right arm slides out, left arm comes up and over, reaching out, moving with that breath. And back to center. Let's go ahead and move on to our hands and knees for a cat-cow. So we're gonna have our arms under our shoulders, knees under our hips, about shoulder width apart. Take a big deep breath in, and as we exhale, let's push away from the mat. Really pulling those hips forward, tucking our chin, and maybe get some movement in here. Maybe side to side feels good to you, maybe forward and backward, maybe just circles with that body. And as we inhale, let's roll our hips and look forward. And here's a good spot for movement too, maybe forward and backward. Maybe just kind of reach into that hip a little bit more. Maybe lean back into your toes if that feels good to you. Maybe you want to look back towards each foot, just really stretching everything out here. And again, your own breath, your own pace. On your next exhale, let's push away again. Pull those hips forward, tuck our chin. As we inhale, roll the hips and look forward. Again, relax that belly down to the mat and get some movement in there still if you want to. It's still early in the practice here. Let's take a big deep breath, and we're going to extend the right leg back behind us. Toes flexed in. And if you feel safe and you feel comfortable with it, let's take that opposite left arm out. Not something you have to do, but if you feel safe and you feel comfortable and you're familiar with your body, feel free to do it. Maybe you want to try it and you lift that arm up and you start to tumble, just put it back down. Pull that belly button in, reach out, press through that heel. This is so absurd. Sorry, guys. Let's take that opposite leg back. I'm not sure if you heard that. We are on the other leg now. Belly button pulled in tight. And again, if we feel strong in our bodies and we feel safe with our bodies, let's take that right arm out. And back down. Let's go ahead and move into child's pose. So we're going to bring that bottom down to our heels here. And don't worry if your bottom doesn't get all the way down to your heels. That's okay. If you want to nestle down in there, maybe take those legs a little farther apart. Reach those hands out and just connect with your breath here. So pay attention to how every time you inhale, your belly and chest maybe push against your thighs. And you exhale, and that pressure is released. And just breathe. This is time that you've carved out for yourself. I know you know that you have a list a mile long probably to take care of after this or something you were working on before this. All of those things will be there at the end of this practice. This is time that you've gifted to yourself. You've made time for yourself. Use this time. As we're moving through this practice, make sure you're listening to your body. If something doesn't feel right, don't force it. Yoga shouldn't be painful. Maybe you can push yourself right to that edge. But if you're in pain, ease up. There is no trophy at the end of this. I will not be sending you an award through the mail. So listen to your body, connect with your breath, and give yourself this time. Let's go ahead and take those arms, reach them over to the right. We're gonna walk our hands out and maybe reach a little bit farther out with that left hand. Option to press into fingertips if that feels good to you. You can try it. Again, everything I say you can try. It's not a demand. I'm not gonna make you do it. But if you try it and you're like, no way, that's too much for me, good for you. Listen to your body and drop your hand back down. Let's reach all the way back across, walk those hands over. Reach out a little bit farther with that right hand, feeling that stretch into our armpit and down into our sides. And back to center. Let's go ahead and come up onto our knees. Try to keep those knees under our hips. And let's just reach back. We can take our hands to our hips if we want to, but let's just lean back, pressing those hips forward. If you're comfortable with it, you can drop those hands down to your heels. Not something you have to do, but if you have done yoga before and you're familiar with how far your body can go, feel free to take those hands back. Or maybe you just want to take one and reach the other one up toward the ceiling, if that feels good to you. And switch. And back up. Let's take that right leg out to the side, toes pointed forward here. Let's try to keep that heel flat. Deep breath, right arm slides down that right leg, left arm comes up and over, reaching, feeling that stretch again. Find that spot in your body where you're really feeling it and breathe into that space. Big deep breath, we're gonna take it over to the other side. So that left arm's still up in the air, but now we're making a straight line from our fingertips, down our arm, across our body, and all the way down to our heel. Reach up like you're reaching for something just out of reach, and I even get so far into it that I kind of wiggle my fingers a little bit. My kids make fun of me, and that's okay. And back to center. Let's take that left leg out. Same thing here, toes pointed forward, heel all the way down. Nice and slow. Left arm slides down, the right arm comes up and over, reaching towards that extended leg. Just breathing into our side. Again, every inhale, the space in our ribs gets just a little bit wider. Big deep breath, let's take it over to the other side. Again, reaching up, nice straight line from our fingertips, down our arm, across our body, through our leg. Back to center. Let's go ahead all the way down to our bellies. Nice and slow, all the way down. Just stay here for just a moment, breathing. Every inhale, our chest and belly pushes against the mat. Every exhale, that tension is released. Deep breath. Let's push ourselves up into either cobra. So either we can stay right here if this feels okay to us, or we can push all the way up. Listen to your bodies. Don't do more than what your body wants to do. Deep breath, let's curl our toes, and nice and slow, we're gonna push all the way up into downward facing dog. Feel free to drop those knees down if we need to here, and let's pedal it out a little bit. Let's get those knees moving if that feels good. Reach those heels down. So you should be in an upside down V here. If you feel like maybe you're an upside down U or you're a cursive N or something, that's okay. Don't feel like you have to be perfect in this. Work it out, bend your knees, get some movement in there. Feel free again to drop down to those knees any moment. Take a breath and push back up. Relax your head and neck. Let that tension go. Deep breath. Let's walk forward. Jump forward, hop forward, crawl forward, whatever works for you here. And let's just hang loose for a ragdoll. So we've got a small little micro bend in our knees here, weights back on our heels. Feel free to grab opposite elbows if you want to, or just kind of let it all hang loose here. I always have my kids at home do this too. I say, oh, that's what they do when they go into ragdoll. Just that big, deep, heavy sigh. Just let it all out. Deep breath. Let's straighten those legs. Grab our toes, our ankles, calves, whatever we can, and just pull ourselves forward here. And maybe it's been a heck of a day and you kind of want to give yourself a little leg massage. Sometimes that feels good. Big, deep breath, nice and slow. Let's come all the way up. Arms all the way up, reaching. And nice and slow, hands to heart. Let's connect with our breath. Give ourselves a moment. Big, deep breath in. Let's clasp our hands, take them overhead, palms facing up, and just get some movement here. Maybe side to side is your jam today. Maybe circles work for you. Maybe you just want to go something into a cat-cow here, forwards and backwards, whatever works. If you're going in circles, make sure you switch directions. And again, just get some movement in there. Stretch it out. See what your body needs. You might not even know till you hit a spot and you're like, oh, geez, oh Pete, so what did I do, sleep on a rock? Deep breath, let's take it over to the right if we haven't already, and really all the way over to the other side. Again, really push out here, feel that stretch. And back to center, hands at heart. Let's step to the front of the mat, whatever that is to you. Big deep breath, arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Let's step back with that right foot again. If we need to step back and wiggle those toes back, that's great. If you're like hopping back and you already know what's up, go for it. Dig into this stretch here. Make sure that our knee isn't popped out way over our toes. If you want to move into a low lunge here or a lizard, feel free if that's in your practice. Feel free again to drop that knee down anytime too. This is your practice. Deep breath, let's step back. Move into a plank here. Get some movement, maybe step back. Again, we don't have to be on our toes for a plank. We can be on our knees if that works for us. Just make sure those knees are back behind our hips. Nice and slow, let's lower down, elbows back behind us, slower than we really want to go, all the way down. Inhale, push up. We can stay right here just like before, or we can push all the way up into upward facing dog if that feels good to us. Deep breath, let's curl those toes and push up for a downward. Feel free at any point also to move into child's pose if you just need to catch your breath, or you're like, you know what, I don't want to be upside down today. I just want to lay here and relax. You can do that too. If you really just want to sit in a chair and watch all this and go through it in your mind, you can do that too, I suppose. Deep breath, let's walk forward, hop forward, whatever works. Inhale, come up halfway, hands to our knees or just above, shoulders are back. Exhale down. Inhale all the way up, sweep the arms, big deep inhale. Exhale, hands at heart. Slow that breath if you need to. And One more time, big deep breath, arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. This time we're going back with that left leg. Do what feels good here, listen to your body, but again, make sure that knee and heel are in line, or maybe that foot's out in front of your hands. That's okay too. Feel free to move into lizard if it is in your practice here, or a low lunge, whatever works. Slow your breath. Breathing is one of the hardest parts about yoga. Because just as soon as you get into the pose and we get into it, we feel our breath picking up, and then we kind of want to start to breathe more shallow. Deep breath, let's step back into a plank. Again, option to be on knees if that feels better to us. From here, let's move into a side plank. So we're going to keep that left arm down. We're going to reach up with the right. Not something we have to do. We can drop that knee down too at any time. And back to center. Keep that right arm down all the way up with that left. And back to center. Nice and slow, lower down, lower than we want to go, all the way down. From right here, let's just check in with our breath. Maybe your heart rate's up, maybe it isn't. Maybe you're breathing more shallow than you were before. Maybe you're not. But for right now, try to find a pulse somewhere in your body. Feel that pulse. Maybe it's, you can feel it in your neck. Maybe you can feel it in your belly pressing against the mat. Maybe you can just feel your heartbeat. Take a big deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly, slower than your body wants you to exhale, focus on slowing that heart rate. We have the ability to do that if we pay attention and we breathe through it and we breathe into it. Right at the end of that exhale, your body's going to want you to take another big deep breath in. Go slow. Superman those arms out in front. We're going to take a really big deep breath in. And then we're going to lift that right leg up and the left arm. Raise that leg up as high as you can, and maybe it only feels like it's an inch off the ground, and that's okay for today. Right leg up, left arm up. And both arms up, both legs, big deep breath, all the way in and up. 3 good deep breaths in and out here. All the way in and out, relaxing down whenever you're finished. Go ahead and bring those hands in close to our armpits. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and push up into Cobra, or push all the way up into Upward Facing Dog here. Deep breath, curl those toes, push up into downward. Reach those heels down, maybe farther than they've gone. Maybe you feel a little bit more loose than you did at the beginning of your first downward dog today. Belly button pulled in, hips up high, reach those heels down, fingers spread wide, relax your head and neck. Let's Go ahead and walk forward. Big deep breath, arms all the way up. Hands to heart. Let's take those legs farther than shoulder width apart. Take a big deep breath, arms all the way up. Exhale, fold forward, reach for middle here. Don't feel like your hands have to go all the way down. Whatever feels good here. Maybe you kind of just want to put your weight into one hip and then the other, shifting your weight a little bit. Side to side if that feels good. Maybe you get down here and you're like, oh gosh, I could take my legs a little bit farther apart. If you need to adjust, adjust as you start to loosen. Deep breath, let's walk those hands all the way over to the right, reaching for the outside of that right foot. If you can't quite get there, that's okay. Reach, just breathe through any stretching that you're feeling. Breathe into any sensations that you're feeling. Let's walk all the way across middle over to the left side, reaching to the outside of that left foot, that left leg. And back to center. Now let's turn those hands around, fingertips pointing behind us, and let's walk our hands back as far as they can go, and maybe we're at the point where we're inching those fingers back. Take a really big deep breath in, and as we exhale, let's press our palms in, relax our head and neck. If we start to feel dizzy, just come up a little bit. Let's turn our palms around. We're going to walk them out in front of us. And we're going to get to a point that we feel safe and comfortable. Make sure we're pressing back into those heels. If it's in your practice, feel free to drop down into forearms. But listen to your body, not something that you have to do, something you can do. Let's bring them all the way back in. Heel toe in a little bit. Bring those legs a little bit closer together, all the way up. Keeping our knees and heels in line here, we're just going to drop down nice and slow with an exhale, as low as we can go that we feel comfortable with. Don't feel like we've got to be all the way down here. If you're here and you're like, that's it, that's all my quads got for me today, that's perfectly okay. Let's just hold this for just a moment. If you want to bring arms up, something you can do, not something that you have to do. If you bring those elbows down, reach those shoulder blades together. We can inhale and come up if we want to, and exhale, drop back down. Not something, again, that we have to do. Listen to your bodies. If it's in your practice, feel free to step up onto tiptoes. Again, don't push yourself. Listen to your bodies. Maybe one toe and then the other if we're just getting started with it. Inhale, come up anytime we need to. Exhale, drop back down. Maybe a little lower, maybe kind of sink into it with that exhale. And your own breath, your own pace. Let's do a couple of these. We inhale, we come up. Exhale, we drop down. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Adjust wherever we need to adjust. And move with the breath. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's do one more. Let's bring those arms all the way up. Hands to heart. Let's bring those feet in. Legs about shoulder width apart. Let's just take a big deep breath here. Slow exhales. Let's come up onto those toes. All the way up on those toes. And back down. Let's do one more. Up onto the toes. Lower slowly with control, those heels back down. Let's take those arms out in front. Palms facing each other like we're holding a beach ball out in front of us. Up on our toes and nice and slow. Slower than we want to go. We got this. We're just going to lower down. All the way down. And if you're like, yeah, that's slower than I want to go, get yourself down there however you need to. And we're going to take those feet apart. Option to stay up onto toes if you want to, or we can drop down into heels if that feels good. If you're here and you're like, this lady's crazy, my body's not doing that, have a seat. That's perfectly okay. Just breathe. Take those elbows on the insides of our legs. Bring those hands together. Big deep breath here. Inhale. And as we exhale, let's press those palms together. Allow the elbow to turn our knees out. And just breathe. Listen to your bodies. Don't push yourselves. Relax those sit bones down toward the ground. Maybe close your eyes. Bring that focus inward. If crow is in your practice, or crow is something that you're working toward, feel free to start moving into that. If you're like, what's crow? I don't know what she's talking about. Take those palms, if that's something that you want to do, and you're going to bring them to the mat right in front of you or the ground in front of you, and just start to lean forward. Allow your body to start taking some of that weight. I'm not going to lead anybody into crow, so if it's in your practice, go for it. Start flying, friends. If not, just lean forward. Whenever you're ready, your own pace, no rush. Let's have a seat. Let's bring those feet together, the soles of our feet here. Bring your heels in close to your bottom. We're going to take those thumbs and put them on the inside center of our feet. Grab the outsides here, elbows on the insides of our knees. Sit up nice and tall like you have a pole going from your bottom through your spine, your neck, and right out the top of your head. And as we do this, and I tell you to lean forward, what I mean is I want you to hinge at the hips. Pull that whole body forward. Keep that back nice and straight. Don't hunch your shoulders in and pull in this way because you really want to see how far you can go. Bring that whole body forward. Big deep breath in. We're going to open our feet like a book. Allow our elbows to turn our knees down and just pull forward. Inhale, come up a little bit. Exhale, open our feet and pull forward. Your own breath, your own pace. Let's do about 3 of these. Remember, the whole upper body moves forward. We're not just hunching our shoulders and pulling in. Inhale, we come up. Exhale, open those feet and pull forward. And maybe you're noticing that with every one that we do with every breath, you get a little bit more loose. You're pulling yourself a little bit closer to the ground. Shoulders are back. Maybe one more. Open and pull forward. And back up. Let's help those knees together. Bring those feet out in front of us, toes pulled back toward our body. Hands down to our sides. Our shoulders are back. Our hands are all the way down to the mat, just beside us or maybe right behind us. Maybe taking a little bit of weight, but not all of our weight. So we're pressing into that mat. We're sitting nice and tall, toes pulled back actively. Maybe we're even spreading our toes apart if we can. Belly button pulled in tight. Deep breath. Let's drop our hands back about 6 or 8 inches here, half a ruler, toes pointed forward, and we're going to bring those hips up. And when I say bring them up, maybe this is it. Maybe you're not even lifting that butt, maybe just enough to slip a sheet of paper under there. That's okay. Bring it up, reach those hips up, and back down, all the way back up. Big deep breath, arms all the way up. Exhale, reach forward, grab our toes, the bottoms of our feet, our ankles, our calves, maybe just our shins. And just pull forward, breathing into any sensations we might be feeling. And back up. Let's bring those knees in, heels close to us, not all the way in, just at a comfortable distance. We're still sitting nice and tall. We're going to take those arms out in front and we're going to lean back just enough here. You can kind of find that spot, right? If we lean back too far, we roll backwards into turtle mode. But we can find that perfect balance, that perfect spot. And whenever you're ready, if you feel comfortable, lift those feet off the mat. Not something you have to do, something you can. If it's in your practice, feel free to extend those legs out. Maybe you want to try it, maybe you don't. Maybe this is good enough for you today. And that's good enough for me. Let's go ahead and drop those feet back down and nice and slow. Let's lower ourselves all the way down to the mat. Use that core if you want to, or maybe you just want to help yourself down nice and slow, whatever works for you. This is your practice. Let's bring those knees into our chest here, and maybe we want to go side to side with them. Maybe you want to do some sit-ups or something here. Maybe you're like super into your core and you want to, feel free. I always like to take my arms out to the sides and drop my knees down, both directions. Let's bring those feet up. We're going to grab them and move into happy baby pose, or as my children call it, dead bug pose. And we're going to reach up, and maybe we're grabbing our heels, the outsides of our feet. Maybe we're just grabbing our pant legs at this point, and that, again, is okay. Be okay with wherever your body is. Bring those knees down into our armpits, and maybe rock side to side if it feels okay to you. We call this a poor man massage, just till you hit that outside back muscle and come back. Deep breath. Let's take Let's take those feet straight overhead. If plow pose is in your practice, feel free to move into that. Not something you have to do, but something you can. If you're like plow pose, that doesn't sound like anything I want to do. Just hang out here for just a moment. Nice and slow. Your choice here. Maybe you want to just get a little extra core in and you want to go slow, slow, slow all the way down. Maybe you're like, core, ha, no thanks. Let's just drop those legs down, whatever feels good to us. Nice and slow, your own pace, all the way down. And when your legs are all the way down, let's take those feet a little farther than shoulder width apart. Arms out to the side, palms facing up. If you're taking care of your lower back or it's bothering you, feel free to pull those knees in. That always feels better to me. You can pull one in or both. Maybe you have a blanket you want to snatch up real quick and cover up here. For now, just breathe. Inhales and exhales. If you're watching me, I'm going to sit up. Please stay down, stay comfortable. And right now in this moment, let's take a really big deep breath in, as big as breath as you can bring in. Bring it in, feel yourself lift up off the mat. And as you exhale, exhale with a sigh. Just, you're the only one that can hear you, so don't feel silly for doing it. Really let it all out. Bring in all that fresh, clean air. Exhale. Feel yourself melt into the mat. Let it all go. Maybe one or two more. And again, as you do, as you have that big cleansing exhale, feel yourself sink. Feel yourself relax. Let go of any tension that you're feeling. And bring that awareness down to our heels, right where they hit the mat. Maybe let our feet with an exhale fall a little farther to the sides. Maybe make sure that our feet are the appropriate distance, that we feel okay with where they are, and we know we can stay here in a relaxing position for a few moments. Let's move up our legs to right where our calves hit the mat. Completely relaxed, completely at ease. Flow up our legs right to where our bottom hits the mat or the floor. Feel ourselves sink in. Find that spot where your bottom hits the mat and let go of any tension that you're feeling. And now let's flow up to that right side, right where our back and our bottom and our hip all meet, right at that spot that sometimes is painful to relax almost. Take a big deep breath in, exhale, let go of just that right side, just that right hip, that lower back. Let's move over to that left side again, right where that back and the bottom and the hip all meet. Big deep breath in. Exhale, let that spot go. Let that tension go. Finally relax your lower back for the day. To flow up our spine to our shoulder blades, maybe adjust if we need to, kind of walk them in or walk them out. Again, whatever we need to do, you know your body. I can't feel what you're feeling. So listen to your body, listen to what it's telling you. And if you need to adjust, adjust. Let's flow down that right arm, all the way down to our right fingers, maybe to the back of our hand where it hits the mat. Give those fingers a little wiggle and just let them fall. Whatever's comfortable, whatever's natural. Let's flow with me all the way back up that right arm, across our shoulders, down the left, again, right to the back of that left hand. Give those fingers a wiggle and let them fall. Wherever they want to be, let them be. Flow back up that left arm. Into our neck, all the way up. Stop at our jaw, stop at our mouth. Make sure our teeth aren't clenched together. Make sure our tongue isn't pressed against the roof of our mouth. Our lips aren't shut tight. Maybe swallow Just let your mouth fall wherever it wants to be. Relax the jaw. Our cheeks fall farther to the ground. Our eyes are shut, but they're not scrunched up tight. They're just shut or maybe just softly relaxed. Our ears fall farther. Our forehead is relaxed, that spot just between our eyebrows, where sometimes we hold so much stress and tension. Let that spot go. Focus on relaxing your face. Our hair, let our hair fall away from our face towards the ground. Find that spot on the back of our head where it's touching the mat. Feel how heavy you are. And now as we move into this moment of relaxation and calmness and peace, I know that your mind will wander. That's okay. Notice when your mind starts to wander, pull it back in, and maybe you even pay attention so much that you inhale, and as you exhale, you just say, not now. That list is there at the end of the practice. Those dishes are there, those clothes are there, those papers you need to grade, it's all there. But right now, give this time to yourself. You gave this time to your body, now give this time to your mind. Thoughts will come and go. Let them, watch them, float on by. Coming back to your breath whenever you need to. The inhales and the exhales. The rise and fall of your chest and belly. Maybe the whistle as it comes in through your nose, cold, and it goes out warmer. This is your time. Enjoy the next few moments that belong only to you. Go ahead and start to wiggle our fingers and bring some awareness back to our breath, back to our body. Maybe reach overhead, get a good stretch in. Maybe we don't even open our eyes yet. Whenever you're ready, just roll onto your side. So just pause for a moment. Whenever you're ready, your own breath, your own pace. With intention, push yourself up into a sit. Don't feel like you have to sit any certain way. However your body wants to be right now is perfect. Let's take a big, deep, cleansing breath. Arms all the way up. Bring it all in. Exhale, hands at heart. And maybe just let a soft smile come over your face. Maybe it's not even soft. Maybe you're like, dang, I feel good. And you're just smiling ear to ear. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight. I hope you carry this calm with you for the rest of the evening or the day or whenever it is that you've practiced this. And remember, as you move forward with your day and with your week and with your month and with this crazy 2020, remember as always to think good thoughts, use kind words, and do good deeds.